Hi, welcome back to the Jessica Ruth Knits podcast. I am your host, Jessica, and this is a podcast about knitting and fibery goodness. Today is July 8th, 2017, and this is episode 24. So thank you to everybody who is viewing this. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are a new viewer, welcome. I'm so glad you found my channel. So yeah, it is a sunny day. I have lots to show you guys, so we are going to plow through this. I think I've said this the past couple of episodes, but you will see why. It's gonna be a jam-packed episode. So I'm gonna start off by showing you my two finished objects. So and these I both showed off on my last episode, but the first one is a knitted knocker. And so this is a prosthetic for, well, the group is called the Knitted Knockers, but if you have had a mastectomy due to breast cancer, then a lot of times the prosthetics that they give you are not, from what I've heard, are not, like they don't feel good up against your skin. So this is, it's silk, cotton, and I think bamboo. And it's just, it looks like a triangle right now. You can send them to the group unstuffed, and then you don't tack, this is a little nipple, you don't tack the nipple down, and then they'll do it for you. But, so it's just a triangle. Once it's stuffed, it'll be more boob-like, I guess. It's really hard to show you. But yeah, it's just like that. So this flat, this is the back, this is flat, and then this part is the part that comes out, kind of like that. And then the little nipple will be tied down to be more nipple-like. You leave a hole in the back of it for stuffing, and a long, they ask you to leave a long tail, so that way, depending on the size they need, they can stuff it more full or less full, and either make it to match. If you've only had one removed, you can make it to match the other one, or you could knit a pair. But by leaving it unstuffed and leaving the hole in it, they can manipulate it and make it whatever size, well, within reason, but they can make it the size they need. But yeah, it's just like a swirly triangle. To try to show you that, almost like a Hershey's Kiss. That might be a good description of the shape of it. But yeah, so I finished that one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a second one or just send this little single one on its way, but I did want to show you the one. And it is super soft and super squishy. And I really hope that somebody, I don't want to say enjoys it, because the whole reason you have to have it is not enjoyable. But I hope this brightens their day. Let's just say that. So, yeah, so my first knitted knocker. I've never knit these before, so it was a first for me. The pattern, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's written for, the pattern I was given was written for double points, but I did it on magic loop. And I just put markers, so the pattern would say like knit to the end of the row, and it meant the end of the row on your double point needle number 1. So I just put markers in, and in my head I would say knit to the marker. And that way I didn't really have any problems with adapting the pattern to be magic loop instead of double points. So that is my first finished object. My second one is a baby sweater. So I'm going to talk more at the end about our charity knitting drive that we're doing, but basically we are knitting baby items or items for the new moms, and I'm going to donate them to the local pregnancy crisis center here. So I've been asking everybody who wants to participate to send in their knitted items, or crocheted, or sewn, or just handmade. And so I didn't want to be asking everybody to do something and not do it myself. So I cast on this is the flax, not the flax light, but the flax by Tin Can Knits. It is done in a DK yarn, and the yarn is Lolo did it, and the color Zombies. So it is so fun, and I just made it short sleeve because A, well, I didn't mention this, but I am on the coast of California currently for the summer, and it doesn't get terrible. I mean, it's chilly here, whatever. It's chilly in the mornings, but it's not terribly cold, not like the East Coast, or, you know, like Michigan or any of those places. And because this is for a charity, I don't know who the recipient is, so I didn't know how long to make the arms. And babies' arms are such a funny thing. You know, like they can be super long and gangly or short and squatty or whatever. So I just thought a short sleeve sweater would fit a wider variety of babies. And they can always wear like a long sleeve onesie underneath and still have the rest of their arms covered. So I was worried at first about not having enough yarn to do the arms, and I would have had enough to do full length arms. So one skein of the alllllll Did It DK yarn would get you, I made the smallest size, would get you a whole sweater even if you wanted to do the arms. So I might see if I have enough to do a matching hat. I doubt it, but I might try just because everything that matches is super cute. So that is my second finished object. I absolutely love it. It is teeny tiny. I used a very stretchy bind off on the sleeves and on the bottom, just so that way there won't be any issue getting the baby's arms in. For those of you who haven't made it, it is a top-down pattern. Super easy. I want to say it's free on Ravelry. The pattern is by Tin Can Knits, and they right now are doing a buy one get one free or half off. They're doing some sort of deal if you buy 2 patterns. So I think as soon as you put the 2 patterns in your cart, it takes off the discount. So if you guys are looking for any good patterns at a discount, Tin Can Knits patterns are awesome. Excuse me. Their patterns range from a newborn size. I want to say they go up to like 4XL, maybe even bigger. So you could knit, and I think most all of their sweater patterns are sized from newborn all the way up. It's up to a couple XL. But you could knit your whole family sweaters if you wanted to out of the same pattern, and not have to purchase multiple patterns. So I just think their patterns are such a value. You know, and you could knit, I don't know, if you had multiple children, you could knit them all matching ones in different sizes. So if you guys are looking for a pattern suggestion, go check out Tin Can Knits. It helps that they're having a sale right now. As long as you buy 2 patterns, I don't know if you have to buy multiples of 2, but whatever. I'm sure their site will tell you. But yeah, check them out. So, second finished object is my flax in zombies. And my mom watches my cousin's kids, who are like 7 and 10, I think, and they just cracked up at all of the names of the yarn. So they just thought this one was so funny that it was titled Zombies. And it's like zombies with a couple exclamation marks after it. So you have to say it like zombies. And so the kids just thought that was hilarious. So, yeah, I mean, you can kind of see like the pale skin, the blood, the black for the eyes. I don't know. It looks pretty zombie-ish to me. I wouldn't look at the sweater and say, oh, that's a zombie sweater. But once you know the name of the yarn, you can't not see it. And I think this could totally be for a girl or a boy. It probably leans more boy-ish, but if you did it with jeans and a little red hair bow, you could totally put it on a girl. The donations that we've been getting have been awesome. We've been getting lots of hats. But it's been interesting because the majority of the sweaters that we've been getting for babies have been for girls, or if they're a neutral color, they just have girly elements to them, which is totally awesome. But I wanted to make something more geared for a boy, just so that there's a wider variety of choices. So you could do whatever. I mean, you can put anything on any baby, but I just wanted something that wasn't pink and frilly. So that's what this is. All right, so that's that. Okay, now we have works in progress. I have been wanting to cast on all the things, which is silly because I have a couple commitments and I shouldn't be casting on all these new things, but it just gets to you. I was just talking to Heather, one of the gals that works at my local yarn shop, and we were talking about how I go in swings from being a monogamous knitter. Like, I just obsess about one project and that's all I want to work on, and I'll do that for like a week or two, and then I get bored with only working on one thing. And when I'm working on that one thing, I love it because you see so much progress on whatever it is you're working on. But then I go into a swing where it's like I need all new projects and I don't want to work on anything for more than an hour at a time, and I want to have a ton of variety. So it's just interesting, the kind of ebb and flow about what we like to work on. I'm going to take a sip. I'm drinking, as I've told you before, unsweetened iced coffee from Starbucks where I work, so I get it for free. Otherwise, it would not be in my budget to always have iced coffee. I can't do sugar, so this right here, no sugar. It's not the most exciting drink at Starbucks, but it's pretty much, aside from like a latte, it's pretty much the only thing I can have, or iced teas, but it's iced coffee for me. Sorry, I just kind of kicked the iPad. Okay, works in progress. I'm going to show you a new one that I cast on this week because, like I said, I was not wanting to work on anything I had. Okay, let me get it all out and then I will show you. So, where's the tag? Okay, I have this yarn, lollipop yarn, and there's the tag. She does amazing self-striping. It's the rainbow collection, 4 colors each in Color Me Happy. So it is such a fun primary colored rainbow. And it's not a gradient. I mean, they're not harsh changes, but very evident changes from one color to the next. So I didn't want to do socks because I'm like, I'm not really going to wear rainbow socks, but I wanted to do something fun and childish with this. So what I decided to do was to knit a paper chain. You guys know those paper chains that we used to decorate classrooms with, or you would do like a Christmas countdown, and you would cut strips of paper, you would fold them in a circle and tape them, and then you would interlock them, you know, like one after another. You could do countdowns, so like maybe you would do 25 little chains, and every day you would take one off, so your chain gets smaller and smaller. I don't know if, do kids still do that these days? We did it for everything growing up. So I wanted to knit a paper chain. So I tried it a couple different ways. There wasn't really a pattern on Ravelry. There was quite a few crochet patterns. And I needed to work with the short color sections. So what I found worked for me is I cast on 10 stitches. And okay, so I consider this a color, even though it's 2 colors. But it's like red and pink, and then it switches to like blue. Or yellow and orange, and then it switches to like green. So I wasn't gonna have the orange and the green together, but there's 2 of every color that kind of goes together. You'll see what I mean in a second. So this is one repeat of the color, which this is not enough to fold over and do a paper chain. Like, that would be teeny tiny. That wouldn't work. So I had all of these on my needle. So I cast on 10. I knit for the 2 colors that went together. And then I just cut the yarn at the color change and set it on this needle. And so I think I have 5. Yeah, I have 5. So there's pink, orange and yellow, purples, blues, and greens. So I had all 5 colors on here. And then I got back to the first color and I knit it double. So then, like, okay, on this one, so it would go yellow, orange. Then when I got to the yellow, orange again, I would do orange, yellow. And then when I sew them together, it's like half of it is orange and half of it is yellow. Does that make sense? Okay, I think so. You'll see in a second. Let me put these away before they fall off the needles, and I will show you exactly what I did. Oh, and this, I was sent, I want to say it's woolly bags. She's no longer, her Etsy shop isn't open anymore, but she does take custom orders, I believe. So she sent me this super sweet needle cozy, and it is just perfect for keeping these guys on the needles without having to worry about them falling off. So love it. I'm using it all the time for this project, and I just can stick this in my project bag and not worry about it. So this is what I'm doing. Okay, you guys see what I'm talking about? So like this one here, and then I just did a 3 needle bind off. I picked back up 10 stitches at the cast on, like 10 stitches, they're just like the loops. And I did a 3 needle bind off with the 10 that I picked up at the beginning and the 10 that I still had live on my needle. So this right here, you can't see it very, okay, there, you can see it, is the 3 needle bind off. So that meant first I did this half, then I did half of the dark purple, then I waited till I got back to that color, and I switched, I did back half of the dark purple and then half of the light purple again, and then right there's the 3 needle bind off. So that way it's not, the chain is not done in quarters, so it's not like A, B, A, B. It's A, B, B, A, which makes it half and half. And then I just did the blues and the greens. So now I have to go back and do the pinks and the yellows, and I will attach them on here and then start the whole process over again. So I love it. It's exactly what I was thinking. I'm not sure how long I'll make it, but I'm thinking it's just gonna be like a baby toy. Just something to hold on to, and I mean, it's super stretchy, pull and play with. I'm not sure if I'm gonna connect them and make it like a big necklace, or if I'll just leave it as a chain and you could, I don't know, do whatever you wanted with it. But I just wanted something fun, something little, something primary, something non-committal to work on. So that's what I came up with. And yeah, it's just 10 stitches. I'm knitting them on size 5 needles, so it's pretty open. There you can see my 3 needle bind off. The purple was my first one, so that one, I think I did the bind off wrong. Yeah, because you can kind of see there's like the stockinette section there, so I did that one wrong. But when it comes to the greens, like you can't see that at all there, and that's where the 3 needle bind off is. So after I did the purple one, I did them correctly. I'm not sure if I'm going to tack them together so they can't swivel, because right now like it can swivel. So I could tack them together with that 3 needle bind off on the inside, but I don't know, because then there would be more ends to weave in. I don't know, I might just leave them. But yeah, paper chain, knit paper chain, whatever. And I'm excited about it. Okay, that's in my Freckled Whimsy bag, which I've shown you guys, absolutely love. I'm not gonna elaborate on that one. In my little Tayloress bag, I don't even know what's in here. Let's find out. Oh, this is my Surge. So the Surge by Lisa Much was the shawl of the month that the knit group here did in June. And I went to the first meeting, I think. Then I had a lot of I had to work the next day. So they meet on Wednesdays. I had to work a lot of Thursdays at 4 o'clock in the mornings. So I didn't go to knit group the night before, because we stayed till like 9:30, 10. And that was going to be way too late if I had to be at work at 4. So I didn't get to go to as many of the meetups as I wanted to, so my shawl did not grow very much. And I pretty much only worked on this at the knit group. I don't know why. I love it, but I'm not thrilled about knitting it. Do you guys ever do that? Like, I don't know why I'm not thrilled about knitting it. Because I love it. I love the pattern. I love my yarn. I love the feel of it. I love the look of it. But I just don't really, if I'm home, it's not one I want to pick up to knit. So I don't know why. But this time I'm not in the middle of the row, so I can actually show you. So this is my, hold it this way, sorry. This is my Surge. I love it. I do. Let me get that one out of the way. There. So let me tell you a little bit about it, because you might notice the purple colors change. So the purple, and I've showed this on a previous episode, is a magic ball. So this was given to me. I don't know the dyer. I don't know anything about it other than its fingering. It's super soft. The color changes are just tied together. So it is not one continuous string, which is totally fine, but they're tied together with magic knots. And that scares me because you're supposed to just knit them and then you trim the ends at the magic knots like super close to the knot, and it's supposed to stay indefinitely. But as I've said before, I'm a worrywart, and so I'm like, well, what if the knot comes undone? Then, because you've trimmed it so close to the knot, you don't have any ends to fix the hole that you would have. Whereas if you do a traditional color change, you have like 6 inches of ends woven into the color change. So should anything happen, you have those ends to kind of go back and fix it. But also with the traditional color change, you're not going to have a hole because there's no knot to come undone. So it's not really possible. But that's what scared me about this, is the knots. And I didn't want to put all this work into it and then, like, after I wash it, have a knot come undone and have a big gaping hole in my shawl. So I am just undoing the knots when I get to them, and I just change colors like you would if you were joining a new skein. You can't, I'm not planning out, okay, I don't know if you guys can see. This wedge here, the color change happened like the second row into it. So the first row was this color, and then it changed to this color. That does not bother me. I could have stopped after the green and changed the color so this whole wedge would be in the new color. You see what I'm talking about? But that doesn't bother me because it kind of just makes it more of a gradient. Like here, these little guys, these two are in the darker purple. This one here is in this newer purple. So that does not bother me at all, but it might bother some people. So I don't know what else to say. It doesn't bother me, but I have over 200 stitches on the needle now, so it's getting quite, the rows are getting quite long. I'm just starting another, so I'm on this section right here. I'm just starting another wedge section of these short rows. Sorry, it's hard to hold and show you guys. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I just don't know why I don't want to work on it, but I don't. So let me show you, where was I last week? Oh yeah. So last time I showed this, because I think I went an episode maybe without working on it. I was here, so I've done all of that, and I'm starting the short rows. So I will move the marker to show you guys for next time. This month, the knit group is doing Martina Bam, I don't know how to say her last name, B-E-H-M, knit along, so you can pick any one of her patterns and knit it. I'm not gonna cast on for another shawl, so they said I could just continue to go to the knit group and work on my serge, because yeah, I'll tell you why in a minute why I can't cast on another shawl, but I really want to finish this. Amy sent me this bag. Amy is Amy of the Little Tailoress podcast and Yarn Dyeing Company. And you'll see her yarn later in the podcast. But if you haven't checked her out, go check her out because she's so cute. And her yarn is gorgeous, and her project bags are incredible. And I can't say enough good things about Amy, so check her out. Okay. 2 more works in progress, and then we move on to acquisitions. So, last episode, if you guys watched it, was my horrible, no good sweater fail. It has redeemed itself this week, so don't you worry. It is all tangled up because I have so many different needles from trying to fix it. So, last week, I will recap. I started this sweater and I didn't swatch, and it's a fingering weight sweater, and I did the collar in a size 3 and then decided that was too loosey-goosey, so I went down to a size 2. But I was too lazy to rip out the collar right when I started. Sorry, it sounded like the garage door. So I was too lazy to rip out the collar right at the beginning when I should have, and I just kept knitting. Then when I tried it on after I had knit like 5 inches, the collar just flipped over. Like, it was way too loose. It looked horrible. I wasn't gonna rip out the whole 5 inches of knitting I'd done, so I picked up at the base of the collar with a smaller needle, ripped out the collar, and knit back up the collar. So I had working stitches going up and working stitches going down. I am very pleased to say it looks like a real collar now. So the body of this sweater I'm doing on size 2s. The collar I did on size 0s. So much better. It does not flop over. It slopes in like it should with the ribbing and not out like it did before. So yeah, this is the walkabout sweater, and I'm doing it with some yarn that my grandma bought in Norway, I don't know how many years ago, just this plain cream yarn. And then for the contrast colors, I am using this gradient set, which is going to be so pretty. So the collar starts out with the darkest one. The cuffs on the sleeves will be in the same dark color. And then the sweater looks like it has a shirt underneath, so the waist will end in the cream color a lot higher than the actual sweater waist. And then I will continue with the gradient color for a couple more inches. So it'll look like I'm wearing a pink top underneath my white sweater, when in reality it's all one sweater, if that makes sense. Walk along, go check it out on Ravelry. But yeah, okay, so that's a sleeve and that's a sleeve. So it's like this. It has these panels that go along the side of the sleeve, which makes it kind of interesting to me. It's not your typical raglan sweater. So that's the back. This is the front. Sorry, it's all bunched up, but yeah, and it's hard to see in the glare, but I probably have another 5 inches to do before I separate for the sleeves, and I have almost stopped increasing. So once I stop increasing, right now I'm just increasing the front and the sleeves. I'm done on the back. Then it'll be a whole lot more smooth sailing from then, because it'll just be knitting until I'm ready to do the underarm and to separate for the sleeves. So that is the walk along sweater. It is fixed. It took me forever to rip out the collar and re-knit it. I don't know, I needed to save, I didn't need to save the white yarn because I have plenty, but I needed to save the color because it's the gradient, and I couldn't skip it because I'm already worried about how I'm going to do it at the end. So I couldn't just snip off the collar. I mean, I had to like unpick it, and I don't know if it's the way I knit or what, but unpicking the rib was like impossible. I thought once I unpicked the cast on edge, I thought it would be like when you rip out a sweater and you could just pull it and it would come. It did not. So it was such a mess. It took forever. I had to, and it was dark yarn, so it's basically like knitting with black yarn. So I had to sit and turn all the lights on and really work to unpick it. So I am super glad it is fixed now, and I can just pretend it never happened. I might have learned my lesson about swatching. I might not have, let's be honest, because I hate swatching. But that is well on its way. Finally, we have some socks that you guys have seen before, and I wasn't even planning on working on these this week, but this is my Whimsy Stitches baseball bag that I purchased to take to, I'm going to the Stitch and Pitch for the San Francisco Giants in like a week and a half, I think. But so I keep this bag, it's got some socks in it, in my car, because sometimes I get to work early and I have a couple minutes and I can knit a row or two on it. Yesterday I was driving and my tire light came on, and it came on like 2 weeks ago, and so I rushed it to the shop, and they said it was a faulty sensor. So the car, it was like 9 years old. And so they said, you know, it's just a faulty sensor. They checked all the pressure and all the tires, said everything was fine. They said the light is probably just going to come on and go off and do its thing. So I didn't think anything of it when it came on when I was driving to work yesterday at 4 in the morning. I get to work and you can't turn left directly into my Starbucks. You have to do a U-turn and then turn into the parking lot. So as I'm doing the U-turn, which normally is no problem in this little car I'm driving, it was like pulling that way. So I was like, crap. I said crap. I didn't know I said crap. But I was like, something is not right. So I get out of my car after I park at Starbucks, and I get out of my car and I'm like out there with my little flashlight on my phone trying to see what's wrong because it's pitch black at 4 in the morning. And I could see the tire was flat. So I was like, there's nothing I can do till I get off work. And I texted my dad. I was like, my tire's flat. What do I do? My parents have AAA. Tim and I do not. So I didn't know if my dad and my mom wanted to meet me at the end of my shift and we'll call the AAA guy, or if the town I work in is like the next town over. So I knew I couldn't drive the car to our normal tire shop because it wouldn't make it, and I didn't want to damage the rims. So I didn't know if there was a tire shop in the town where I'm working that I could take it to and maybe drive it a block without damaging it. So my dad was like, we'll just meet you with AAA when you're off. So my mom, my poor mom, had to stop what she was doing because I got off early. So she had to stop what she was doing. My dad called the AAA guy to like get the ball rolling. The AAA guy came, was super quick. He was super nice. He changed it. Then he's like, well, your spare looks a little flat. So he measured it. He aired up my spare and he's like, oh, you know, you'll be good to go. Like, you're fine. Gave me a recommendation of where I should take it. I mean, he was just super nice and considerate, and like he didn't have to go. He went above and beyond. So I was super pleased with that. Then I drove it to the tire shop. Oh, and he showed me there was a big old screw in my tire. No idea where I picked it up. But yeah, so I drove it with the spare to our normal tire shop in my hometown, and they patched it, and it took me I had like half an hour of waiting, which was not bad at all. And then I got back on the road with a fixed tire. But I was so thankful that I had emergency car knitting in my car, because I thought when I went to work I didn't take any knitting with me because I thought I'm just going to work and coming back home. My shift was so short, I knew I didn't have a lunch break, so it's not like I would have time to go sit and knit in my car. And since it was so early in the morning, I thought if I get to work early, I'll just take a nap. So I hadn't planned or brought any knitting with me. And then here I had to go sit at the tire shop for half an hour. And so I was so thankful to have a project in my car that I could just pick up and knit on. So without further ado, these socks, I cast on maybe a month ago. When I went to the funeral, I cast these on that trip. And they are from my mom, and they are another gradient. These are her colors. They're not my colors. My mom likes, not pastel-y, beachy colors, I guess. And I like bolds and brights. And it's kind of funny because she painted her living room this green color, and I would say that's not her green. But I don't know, maybe it's similar enough to this. I don't know. Anyways, these are my mom's colors exactly. So she picked out the yarn from my stash and said, I want socks in these. And she wants shorty socks. So that's what she's getting. So this is where I was last time. It is now ready for the heel. I always, if I have a knitting project bag that I'm working on, socks that are in it, I typically keep a sock that I've already made in the bag to measure it. Because sometimes you can't just take off your shoe and try on the sock. You know, like if I'm at the tire shop, I'm not going to take off my shoe and take off my sock and put a half knit sock on my foot. So this is, you guys have seen this before. This is my sock with the leftovers from my Find Your Fade shawl that I did. And I still haven't woven in on this end. So I keep this one in the project bag to measure it against, like to measure this one against there. And we are just about at the heel. Like if I uncurl the needle, it would be right there. So it's ready for the heel. Now, because this is a gradient, this is the ball I'm using now. If I knit the heel in, if I didn't break the yarn and I just continued to knit the heel in the gradient, then after the heel, when I start to work back in the round, on the top of the sock, I think it would be too harsh of a color change. Does that make sense? Like it wouldn't be this continuous gradient because I would have ate up so much of the color change in the heel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna steal the yellow from the inside and knit the heel in the yellow, and that way it won't break the gradient at all. So my heel's gonna be yellow, and then I'll continue with the gradient like around here and up. So yeah, I'm gonna see how that works. But I think that way it won't make it look weird at all by having like a harsh color change, you know, from here to there, if that makes sense. But yeah, so that was my emergency knitting. I didn't get very much done because I wasn't planning to knit on it. But I also wasn't planning on having a flat tire at work. So always keep emergency knitting in your car is the moral of that story. And the moral of last week's story was do a gauge swatch. See, I'm just so helpful for you guys. Stick around and maybe you will learn something. All right, that is all of my works in progress. Sorry, I totally just threw it on the couch. Yeah, so, okay. Knocker flags, emergency search for the game. Oh, I did it all. I have a bulletin board here that I stole from my sister. She was cleaning out her closet and she was gonna throw it away, and I was like, I will take that. So, and there's a big glare. So as I'm working during the week on different projects, I can write them on here, and that way I don't forget to tell you guys about anything. Yeah. So, okay, we have some acquisitions, and holy cow, do we have acquisitions? And I have a sweater knit-along winner that I'm going to announce. I have a giveaway because we are now over 300 subscribers. So I have a giveaway to talk about for that. And then at the very end, I will talk about the charity knitting drive and show you guys all the amazing things we've got this week. And yeah, I think that'll about do it. It's already gonna be a long one. Okay, without further ado, because some people don't want to stay for all of the charity knitting drive, I'm going to announce our sweater knit-along winner. So we are doing a year-long sweater knit-along, co-hosted with Jessamine of the Knitted Towel podcast, so go check her out. You are more than welcome to double, triple dip, do whatever. I really don't care who else you enter your finished objects in their cowl, if they're doing a cowl. But yeah, so what you need to do, it has to be a sweater for a human. Not a baby, not a dog, not a doll. But if it's for a living, breathing human, then it counts. So baby sweaters, adult sweaters, whatever, count them all. Go to my Ravelry group, which on Ravelry, I am Sergeant Griff's Girl. So it's SGTGRIFFS Girl, GIRL. We have a Jessica Ruth Knits podcast group in the group section. And one of the forums is the Jess and Jess Sweater Together. That's the name of our sweater along. Enter your finished objects there, tag them, like hashtag them on Instagram. I love seeing them all. And I am drawing prizes quarterly, so from the finished objects. So I went from April, May, June is what I pulled from this week. Jessamine is also doing prizes. I know a lot of other people are hosting sweater knit-alongs at the same time. So enter in them all. I want you guys to win all the prizes. So you have my blessing. Okay, so little Tayloress, I showed you her bag. This is her yarn. It's probably gonna be, okay, there. Maybe it's not too blown out right there. Look at her packaging. The yarn is speckled. I'll show you the back. 1,000 Yellow Daisies is the colorway, and it is gorgeous. So I picked I used random number generator, and it chose number 20, who is Asteride, A-S-T-E-R-I-D-E, and she is from Lisbon, Portugal, and I have been to Lisbon, so that was pretty cool. She did the Surf Ahoy sweater, which if you want to see pictures of it, go in that forum thread and check out her sweater. So Asteride, I think that's how you say it, Asterid, I don't know. Contact me. I'll give you, let's say 2 episodes. So this is episode 24. So if I haven't heard from you by episode 27, then on episode 28, I will pull a new winner. But you have won this gorgeous yarn, and I will be happy to mail it to you if you just send me your full name and your mailing address. I will get this shipped off to you. So, okay, there's that one. Next, because we hit 300 subscribers, I am going to do a YouTube giveaway. So what I want you guys to do, if you want to be entered, is be a subscriber, give the previous episode, so episode 23, a thumbs up, and comment on episode 23, because that was the last one. So what are you gonna win? Holy cow, guys, look at this. This is a Gale's Art sock blank, and look at it. Oh my goodness, I love it so much, so much. So I'll show you her tag. I showed all of this on Instagram too. The colorway is Extreme 3D. I don't know if you can see it, 'cause, sorry, I'm trying to not get the glare on it. No, whatever. Look on Instagram if you want to see more information about the sock blank. But it is, that's the right side. Even the wrong side is pretty. And I can't wait to see how this knits up and what somebody decides to knit with it. Are you gonna make socks, a shawl, hat? I don't know, but it's gonna be fun to see what you do. So if you want to win this gorgeous sock blank, all you gotta do is be a subscriber, like episode 23, and comment. You can comment whatever. Please don't say your podcast sucks as a comment, because that would just hurt my feelings. But you don't even have to say anything nice if you don't want to. You can just say, I like the sock blank, and that counts. So I'm not gonna force you to say something nice, but everybody says something nice anyways. So, all right. Acquisitions. I have a yarn fairy who likes to send me yarn, and I love to receive the yarn, and she sent me more yarn this week. And nobody believes me when I say I got a lot of yarn. But holy cow, guys, I got a lot of yarn, and I am so thrilled and so excited, and I get to share some with you, and I get to keep some, and I'm going to cast some on as soon as this episode is over. So everything I was given is indie dyed yarn by incredible designers or dyers, and yeah, so that is where I am pulling for the charity. I'm trying to not to confuse the two. For the charity knitting drive, I'm sending y'all yarn, and I'm pulling from the yarn that this lady gave me. So it's all indie dyed yarn, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But I am going to be doing a test knit for Kefren of Kefren Designs. Kefren Knitting on Instagram, I think. It's K-E-P-H-R-E-N, Kefren. I met her when I worked at the yarn shop in Arkansas, and Arkansas had a little fiber fest, and she came down for that and registered for some classes, and we had the hardest time understanding what her name was because it was on the phone. And so she called to register, and she's like, my name's Kefren. And we were like, Catherine? She's like, no, Kefren. And we're like, Catherine? So the name stuck. It's Kefren. And she is a designer and designs for some magazines, and she's got a lot of designs on Ravelry. So she was calling for test knitters for a shawl, and I said, I'll do it. That would be fun. I've never done a test knit before, so I'm super excited. And the fact that I know Kevin personally made it even more exciting. And the fact that I had a ton of yarn now to pick from made it triply exciting. So the pattern can be done in 2 colors. I'm going to do it in 3 because I don't have 2 skeins of any one color that I wanted to use. And she said that was fine. So what I'm going to do, these are my colors. So we have Cat's Kettle, which I don't think I've ever knit with before. This is in the pewter colorway, if you can read it. It is like a purpley gray. My mom says it's purple, I say it's gray. The color name is pewter, which is a gray, but on camera it definitely looks purple, so my mom's not totally wrong. Stranded Dye Works, which is one of my favorite podcasts. She is Amy Florence on Instagram, I believe. This gorgeous pink. It says it's a prototype skein in the colorway Coral. So I don't know if she was trying out to find out like the sweet spot for the colorway, or if that's a line. I think it's gonna be super pretty. It's like variegated almost, like tonal variegated maybe. So I'm so excited to use that. And then finally, Hedgehog, and this is the colorway Teacup. So this is a cream, but then it has these crazy speckles in it. Oh, and there's like some brown and just all the colors. So I think it will pull in the pink from here and kind of like the gray neutrally from the pewter. So, okay, I'm debating. So the shawl is, the first part of it is like a big chunk of stripe A, a little dash of B, and then big chunk A, a little dash B, big chunk A, so on. So it's big chunks of the color, which is gonna be the pink, and then the little stripes of the second color, and then at the very end, there's like 5 inches of lace. So the way Kefren did it is she just did 2 colors. So it's like big chunks, little stripes, and then the lace is in this color. But because I don't have 2 of these or 2 of the hedgehog, I'm gonna do the lace in the 3rd color. So, do I do stripes? Do I do pink with little gray stripes and white lace? Or pink with white stripes and pewter lace? I don't know. And I kind of have to decide like now. I mean, I kind of have to decide before you guys can even comment and tell me what you would do, because I need to cast it on today. And this probably won't go live till tomorrow. So, I don't know. I'm so bad. Like, I know this is the big chunk of color. I just don't know which one the lace would look better in. I kind of feel like this, and lace in the white. That might be what I do. But we'll see. But this is going to be my next cast on this afternoon. The shawl needs to be done by August 10th. So, I have just about a month to do it. Which should be fine if I don't cast on all the other things. So, we'll see. I'm going to cast on tonight and see how it goes. And we'll go from there. Okay, another acquisition I wanted to show you is a new to me yarn dyer. And it's Wee Chickadee Woolery. And oh my goodness, guys, look at this skein. Look at it. Look at all those colors. Holy cow. Like, I want a whole sweater out of this. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, so, Wee Chickadee Woolery is such a mouthful. Look, the colorway is Look on the Bright Side. And it's a DK weight, 231 yards. And it says hand dyed by Jennifer. Which you guys could read if there wasn't a big glare. So I'm thinking a baby vest like the Milo in this, because I feel like this could go boy or girl. I mean, there's blues and there's pinks, and I really want to see how it knits up. So because we are doing IVF, which is the whole reason I'm out here in California, if you haven't watched any of my previous episodes, my husband and I are in Arkansas, and there's only one infertility clinic in the whole state. So we decided it would be better for me to come out to California, stay with my parents for the summer. I transferred work. I work at Starbucks, so I transferred from Arkansas out to here so I can keep my insurance and do IVF. There's multiple clinics out here. So that's the whole reason I'm in California. I grew up here, but that's why I'm here for the summer. So I'm kind of like wanting to do baby nets just because that's the whole reason I'm here. But obviously we're not even pregnant yet, so obviously we don't know what we're having because the child hasn't even been conceived. So I want to knit neutral baby things, but I don't know if that would be, if this yarn is too girly. I don't know. But I could always knit it, and if we have a boy, save it or give it to somebody else that has a girl. It would just be fun to knit it up. So, okay, that concludes. Oh, I did want to say, I had to do IVF. I have to get all of these clearances. So I have to go see all of these different doctors and get everybody to sign off and say I'm good to go for IVF. So it's like crazy the amount of different doctors I need to see. But this week I had to go see the high risk OBGYN. So it took like a month to get an appointment, which kind of pushed everything back another month because it meant I couldn't start birth control this month. So now I have to wait till my next cycle. But anyways, I went to the high risk OBGYN because so I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it means I don't ovulate. It's kind of called like the cousin to diabetes. It means my A1C, which is your 3-month average of your blood sugars, it means, well, mine's always elevated because I'm insulin resistant. It has been for years. It's just, it is what it is. So when I went to the infertility clinic here, they did all my blood tests. Everything came back fine except my A1C. And they're like, well, it's in the diabetic range. So now you need to do all of this stuff. So the diabetic range is up to 6.5 or 6.5 and up is considered diabetic. Mine is 6.6, and it has been 6.6, 6.7 for years. And all of my doctors that have ever tested it have just said, well, it's because you have PCOS. They've never said diabetes. They've never said anything like, I mean, they've always said like, oh, you should maybe lose some weight, but it was never been like, this is what you got to do. So now they're like, oh, you have diabetes and your life is over and da-da-da. So I had to go see the endocrinologist, like, before we even went to the funeral. And he's like, your number is so borderline. He's like, if you weren't trying to get pregnant, I wouldn't even worry about it. And he's like, your blood sugars are fine. I mean, I have to test my blood sugar like 5 times a day. So it was really good to hear the doctor say, if I wasn't trying to get pregnant, I'd be fine. Like, he wouldn't really consider it diabetes. He would just agree it's PCOS, you know. And so I'm definitely trying, like, losing weight. I've lost 40 pounds now. You know, I'm continuing, like, I've been very strict about my sugars and my carbs and working out. So naturally that A1C is going to go down from me cutting out sugar and me walking and losing weight. But because it's a 3-month average, you can't just retest it and have it be like a totally accurate number, because it's still going to include, if I test my A1C after a month of a lifestyle change, it's still going to include those last 2 months of eating sugar and all of that. So you really need to test it 3 months in from when you changed. But I'm not going to wait that long for IVF. So everything's kind of like on a time crunch. So my endocrinologist said he wouldn't worry about it. He wouldn't consider it diabetes. I could probably get it lowered back into the normal range without medication or anything. But because we're trying to get pregnant and because I am wanting to do it all now, and because I don't want to be here a year without Tim, that would just suck. So he's like, let's try to get you in the pregnancy range before you get pregnant. Which means when you're pregnant and you have to be in the blood sugar range, there is super strict. So my after meal numbers are totally fine. They're in the pregnancy range, they're in the normal person range. So that's pretty much the only numbers I can control. And that's controlled by, again, not eating sugar, not eating that many carbs, and walking a lot. But my fasting numbers, which is the number that I physically cannot control, like there's nothing I can do to change my fasting blood sugar. It's just, it's like my body composition, and this is what I do when I'm sleeping at night without anything, like any food or anything. My fasting numbers are too high for pregnancy. Not for pregnancy, but I don't know how to explain it. So your blood sugar fasting, if you're pregnant, should be under, they want it under 90. Mine has been like 95, 100. So they put me on insulin at night to bring down that fasting blood sugar. So every night I have to give myself an insulin shot in the stomach. Basically, it's like gestational diabetes, but like pre-pregnancy. And again, I wouldn't have to do any of this if we weren't doing IVF and trying to get pregnant. So, and the doctor's like, as soon as you deliver the baby, you don't have to be on insulin anymore. You know, it's just for pregnancy. So that was one of the clearances I had to get. So now we've got the blood sugars under control. So that doctor signed off saying she's good to do IVF. Well, because my sugar numbers were high, they said I needed to go see the high-risk OBGYN. And that's what I had, that appointment this week. So I went, and he's like, well, your numbers are so low. He's like, your weight is fine. I mean, it's high, but it's not, I'm not like 400 pounds trying to get pregnant. He's like, really, we're only concerned with people whose numbers are over 7, and yours is 6.6 going down. He's like, so I have to tell you all of the complications that could arise, but most of it doesn't apply to you. So it was really frustrating to have to wait a whole month extra to have a doctor say, it doesn't really apply to you because you're doing so well. But he did sign off saying I'm good to start IVF. And he's like, but I want you to see the optometrist. Because, so I guess when your blood sugars are high, it can cause eye problems. And if I have eye problems, then they would put me on like a different medication once I'm pregnant. But, so I have an appointment for the optometrist next week. But I'm like, I think you would know if you had eye problems. You know, I don't have trouble reading. I don't have headaches. I don't have blurry vision. Like, I think it'll be fine. But he also said that won't hinder IVF at all. That will just tell us if something is red flagged at the optometrist. Like, it would just change a little bit how we would treat pregnancy. But he gave me the go-ahead to do IVF, and he was the final one I needed, which means now we can get the ball rolling. So what happens now, because a lot of you have expressed interest and have sent me super sweet notes of support and prayers, and I love that you guys have all like rallied behind me for this. It just makes doing it so much easier. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but it makes it easier knowing all these people are cheering for me and praying for me and rooting for me. So now we wait till I have my period, and then we start a month of birth control, and then we start the IVF. So you have to do a month of birth control, which seems stupid because Tim's not even here, so I can't get pregnant. But it's not about preventing pregnancy, it's about manipulating your cycle. So from what I understand, you do birth control for like 5 days, and then you're off for 2, and then do birth control for a couple more days, and then you're off it. So it's not the standard take birth control for 3 weeks and then have a week off type thing. So they're just trying to get your body used to them being in control and not my body being in control. So that's what the month of birth control is for. And then we start the hard, like I say the hardcore drugs, but the real IVF stuff. So we're looking at least 2.5 months more here. And then in 2.5 months, we should know one way or another if IVF worked. And if it didn't work, then I'll probably have to stay out here another month for another round and just continue it. We'll see. Hopefully it'll work, and yeah. There's so many knitters in the knitting community that are pregnant right now, like podcasters. Chelsea of Legacy Knits just announced she's expecting. I think she's like already in her 2nd trimester. She's pregnant. Amber of Yarn Junkie is pregnant. There was one other somebody else is pregnant. I don't know. So I'm like, this is perfect because it's like the podcaster pregnancy group. So hopefully I can join that club this year, in 2 months. But yeah, so that is where I stand with IVF. That is the giveaways. I'm going to talk about the charity baby knitting drive now and show all of the things we've got in. And I'm going to do it on the quick side because this is already, I'm trying to read the time, like over an hour long. So the charity knitting drive, for those of you who don't know, but I feel like by this time you already know, I'm collecting baby knits or knits for new mamas to donate to the local pregnancy crisis center. And in return, if you donate items to me, I am sending you a skein of indie dyed fingering weight yarn. Because I was gifted so much of this incredible yarn, I want to share it with y'all. And so this is a way that we can do some good for the baby community, and also you guys get a free skein of yarn. So you can knit crochet. I say knit, but it's knit crochet, sew, whatever. Anything that you would give your own child. Let's just say that. So stuffies, clothes, hats. Use fibers that you would put on your own kid. Yeah. So it's pretty wide open and open for interpretation. And you guys have a ton of creative liberties as to what you want to do, what you want to make. Yeah, if you want to send something for the mom, that totally counts too. So without further ado, let's look at what we got the past like week and a half. And holy cow, guys, it is so much stuff. So I'm going to go through these quickly. And oh, also, if you're going to contribute, all the information is on my Ravelry page. There's the post office box number, all of the guidelines. You have until July 31st to ship it all to me. There's also a baby charity drive finished object thread. So if you knit something for the baby to donate, you can put it on the finished objects thread so everybody else can see, and if you want to link the pattern and all that. So that's why I'm going to go through these very fast. A, because we're short on time, and B, because hopefully you guys are putting them in the finished object thread and people can ask questions about them there. So, excuse me. Big sip of coffee. Alright. Super cute bonnet. Oh, it goes like that. Sorry. It's gonna be, the glare is gonna be bad. But, a cute little vest with little pig buttons. So fun. Little baby Malabrigo hat. This one is a blanket. It's not gonna show up because of the glare. But, oh yeah, there's trees and flowers and more trees. So fun. And I'm keeping tallies of all of this stuff on the Ravelry page. So after I show it here, I will update the tallies so you guys can see how many of each items we've got. This is like a baby cocoon sack. There's 2 of these that this lady sent. They can fold down to be, it's like an arm cozy. You can fold them down to however long your baby is. Along with those, there's matching, bibs that, so it's a bib like that, but it has like a sweater collar, so the baby can't just rip it off. Genius. There's a few of those, and a pink one, and a baby hat, another baby hat. This is all from the same person. And another baby hat, and one fell on the floor, another baby hat. Alright, we've got some fun sweaters. So sweet. This one, I love the buttons. Can you see those? So cute. Another little pink one. This one is a hat for mama, and I'm so tempted to, when I say I'm tempted to steal it, it really is code for I absolutely love this. I'm not really gonna steal it. You guys sent all this to be donated, and it will be donated. I just really like this. This one sent these 2 wristers for Mama and a matching hat. Super cute. A little robot sweater. How cute is that? And it zips up the back. So cool. Here's a shawl for Mama. 2 more little baby hats. They're gonna get blown out with the light. Then we have 4 of these. I'm not gonna unfold them because they won't really show on the screen. These are like flannel baby blankets. So it's polka dots and bunny rabbits, polka dots and flowers, polka dots and solid, and another polka dot and flowers. So fun. I was really tempted to steal this gray neutrally one. I don't think we're gonna find out what we have once we're pregnant, because I feel like with IVF there's so much that is known. It would be nice to have something unknown and something like some surprise. I don't know. But then I don't know if I could handle not knowing, because I would want to knit all the things for all the boy things or all the girl things. So I don't know. But this could be boy or girl. And so I was like, oh. So maybe I'll just have to buy one if she sells them on Etsy. This one, oh my goodness. This is another one that's my favorite. She spun it from her own Angoras and then knit it. Look at how cozy and like, this is an heirloom. I don't feel guilty giving it away, but I'm like, it's precious. Okay, sorry. I love them all. I love them all. A little bear hat. How cute. Another little hot flower. I love the bright ones. I love how different all of them are. Like, so different. There's like classic heirloom pieces. There's fun and funky. I would totally put my kid in this. I would totally wear one if I had an adult size of it. Like, I just love the variety. A little berry hat. A little pink crochet. Sorry, some of the colors are not showing up how pretty they are because of the light. A little blue one. A little yellow. It's not really neon. It's like a baby yellow. Another little Malabrigo, I guess. Yeah, another Malabrigo one. Malabrigo is just such a good yarn. A tomato hat. This one. I mean, it's just so fun to see what you guys are doing. Like, I love it. A little variegated one. More fun and crocheted, cool color ones. Oh, look at these little sweaters. I'm gonna put one there. Look at these. There's 2. They're both the same. So sweet and so fun. We have so much stuff, guys. This lady sent a flannel baby blanket and then she crocheted edging on it, which is gonna be super fun for babies to feel, you know, like, you know how they like to just the textures, I guess is the word I'm looking for. A little hat and matching booties. This is a hat I made years ago that I'm donating. I think I made it for my sister and she didn't want it or whatever. So we put it in there. Another little baby hat. A little baby. This is like a toddler sweater, I think. Look at how cute that is. With the little toggles on the back side. Then there's these little yellow booties, which again are gonna be blown out. And then this lady sent, I'm gonna try to hold them all up. Oh. All these little booties. With little ties to cinch and tie. Sorry, it's gonna be bad lighting, but they're so cute. So, oh no, then there's more. Then I went to my knit group last night and a lady from the knit group had dropped off some stuff for me there. So she included, little booties and a little matching hat. That one. Another little hat. Itty bitty socks. Look at how sweet are those. So fun. Another little hat. And a spirally, kind of candy cane-ish one. Okay. That is everything we got in this week. Holy cow, guys. You guys are awesome. So many. So one thing that just floors me is you don't get, it's not like for every item you send, you get a skein of yarn. So if you send 10 baby items, you're not getting 10 skeins of yarn back. You're only getting one. So really, you could just knit or crochet one little hat and be done and be like, done, I did my duty, now give me a skein of yarn. But instead, everybody is sending so much more than the bare minimum, and that is what is so fun to see. Knowing you're getting the same skein, whether you make 10 hats or one hat. The people that donate 10 hats, I'm just floored. You know, or multiple sweaters or multiple blankets or whatever. Because you're not doing it out of selfishness, like, oh, if I donate more, I get more in return. And so you're doing it purely out of wanting to make the pattern or wanting to donate or wanting to help a charity or I don't know what, but that is what I'm having the most fun with, is just seeing what you guys make and seeing the generosity of everybody. And to those of you who just send one hat, that is totally fine too. I love the single hats and I love the multiple packages. So thank you. Thank you so much for just the generosity that you guys have shown. Yeah, this has been so much fun. This is so much fun to do. It's probably more fun than like when I order stuff for me and get yarn in the mail, because it's just seeing what you guys made and I love it. And yeah, even though I don't get to keep any of it, it is so much fun to get and to be excited about. And even my dad, so the post office box is my dad's business post office box, and so he'll get the mail, or his receptionist will get the mail, and then I'll go down to his office to pick it up. And you know, he wants me to open the packages there so he can see what you guys sent. And like, my dad's not really into knitting, but he likes to see, you know, everything that you guys are sending. And anytime anybody comes over to the house, my mom's like, Jessica, show them what you're, you know, like what you've got donated. So I have it all in a pack and play. My parents have a playroom here, and so they have a pack and play for like when my sister's babies are over. So once I show it on the podcast, once I log it in the updated totals, and once I've mailed off your thank you skeins of yarn, so I have like this whole process, then I put it all in the pack and play. So this pack and play is getting so full of baby knitted and crocheted and sewn items. But every time like a relative comes over or one of my mom's friends comes over, she's like, Jessica, get out the pack and play and let's show them. And so we go through everything that's been donated. So it's not just me that's excited about this. My parents are excited. I mean, everybody that comes over is just so floored by everything that we've got so far. So I'm having so much fun. So we're going to continue collecting this until probably mid-August. And then we're going to assess the situation and see. I might extend it for another month, or we might do a different charity. I don't know. We'll see what happens then. But you guys have until July 31st to mail off the baby knits and get a skein of yarn in return. I have plenty of yarn, so if you guys are wondering if there's still yarn, there's plenty. I will not run out. So get those baby knits cranking, and yeah, I'm so excited. So that is all for this episode. I know it's a long one, but there's a lot to tell you guys. I would love it if you are not a subscriber, if you would hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's share the podcast. Let's tell as many people about this charity knitting drive as we can, so that we can bless the maternity home, the pregnancy crisis center, with as much stuff as possible. So share the word, tell people what we're doing if you want. Share the podcast. I would love it. And I hope you guys have a great day. yeah, I should be a good week coming up, guys. This past week was kind of rough. My sister moved, so that was really rough. So I didn't podcast on the normal podcasting day. So it's the weekend, and I couldn't go any longer without podcasting. So you guys are getting a random weekend podcast. But yeah, I'm going to stop blabbering. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching. Thanks for knitting, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, take care. Bye.